Tippy time my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. Today's vid is all about that blunderbuss. Traditionally I've favoured fusion rifles for my special of choice, as it was often safer damage in endgame compared to that of our shotties, and snipers are just so far out of the damage equation it's not even funny. But the Banner of War has given me a new appreciation for these jaw-dropping, in-your-face melt machines. Garden our Salvation will be getting that red border treatment inside Season 23, and with it the Prophet of Doom, so I wanted to understand the current state of the shotgun meta before its launch. All damage numbers will be tested against Carl without buffs or debuffs, and we'll be looking at three values: single shot damage, mag damage, and total possible damage. Along the way, I'll be recommending a couple of builds that will make your favorite shotty shine. Please thumb it and like it at any point if you've learned something new. And with that said, we begin with the aggressive frame shotguns. The Found Verdict is acquired from the Bolts of Glass raid. Being an elemental ag frame, it's your third best option for 1-2 punch, but I prefer it with lawful weapon. With 58,500 a shot, 293,000 a mag, it's capable of 1.14 milli. If you're doing a reserves dump, a major shotgun's downside is having to reload your rounds one at a time. Don't. Reload shoot, reload shoot, reload shoot, aka reload cancelling. In the same 12-second window, I got off an additional 2 shots. The Last Man Standing is an extremely comfy shooter. It has a very sexy model, but the only thing making it unique is Discord. After getting a kill with another weapon, final blows with this shotty will refund ammo. This inverted mulligan may seem quite memey at first, but it can play quite well on your double special builds, acting as a makeshift primary weapon. The Deadpan delivery is getting slept on. With Trench Barrel, it is the 4th highest mag damage. It does 76,500 per shot, 382,500 across the mag, and an amazing 1.453 million across its reserves, surpassing even many meta heavy weapon options. Trench Barrel won't activate on our charged aspect melees though, just our standard, charged and non-charged melees. Imperial Decree is king, lord and saviour. Being a kinetic, its Trench Barrel is superior to that of the elementals. It does 88k per shot, 444 across a mag, and a rod stiffening, clam moistening 1.67 million across its reserves. It can be crafted as part of the Menagerie collection at the helm. It can also roll with Swashy for 59k, 371k, and 1.44 million potential damage, but I wouldn't. Trench Barrel is the superior option with less hoops to jump through. However, it does also rock our socks with Surrounded. This might not do as much as Trench Barrel, doing 82 to Trench Barrel's 88, 410 to its 440, and 156 to Trench Barrel's 167. But in certain situations it can outdamage due to its ease of use. Banner of War has swollen up my balls and now I can just throw myself at enemies without the worries of that walk of shame back to the rally flag. I also prefer it if I'm the tractor cannon, as weapon swapping doesn't also need to have that bonus confusion by adding melees in there as well. The sudden death can also roll with Surrounded. My luck is crazy. I go to make a PvE shotgun video and the Prophecy Dungeon spat out 6 gold roll PvP shotguns at me. This should be doing around 1.32 million, which of course isn't as good as the Imperial, but it will come in handy to share surges with any other power weapon you may want to also run. Astral Horizon is the best 1-2 punch shotty. Being an adept, we can equip the big one spec, so we can duel both mages and bosses alike. However, that left the adept loot pool last week. If you didn't get your hands on one, you can go craft the Ragnhild-d. Both of these do 50k a shot, 250 a mag, and 945k total. That sounds low, but when you add up the melees, these stack up pretty high. The mindbenders can also roll 1-2 punch. It will do slightly less damage being an elemental weapon versus kinetic. Across a 30-second window we managed to use 20 hammers using the whole shot, bonk, bonk, reload, cancel cycle. You can of course use this build in GMs and stuff. It will work, but I'm forever losing my little hammer. Bonk hammer will work best in raids, dungeons, particularly when soloing them. The majority of dungeon solos are done this way, and being a solo shotty, it can then tie in with some of those juicier fragments so we can chain restoration and radiance. It rolls Swashbuckler 2, giving you 68k per shot, 272 across the mag, and a fairly decent 1.24 across its reserves. Granted though, you won't be using this for boss damage, it's more for major damage. I find it works quite well on your solar hunters, paired with exotics like the Arthur's Embrace or the Caliban's Hands. Over with our slot shotguns, and the Inquisitor also has Swashbuckler and does similar damage at 1.23. For me though, this is kind of like just having the rack, but with golden tricorn you can also get the hips to go along with it. It does 80k per shot, a massive 401,000 over the mag, and a total damage output of 1.23 mil. Being an arc weapon, it will require that ARP subclass to hit that max value. I love using it on my arc hunter myself, but any arc ability build will suit. Also, as we've woven an ability into our little menage a trois, we can utilize Amplify. This will give us more movement speed, and more importantly, weapon handling is greatly increased. The Nessa's Oblation is also a really great add-clear shotgun. It has destabilizing rounds, so naturally I've been running it with the Guru Falcons build to double stack the chaos that is volatile rounds. The Gunnora's axe walks that fine line of direct damage and area of effect damage. It does 294 across the mag, but with the application of Jolt, it's going to do another 125k directly to that target and spark out and destroy other targets whilst you wail on them. My favourite shotty is the No Reprieve. With surrounded spec, this puppy has been a sleeper amongst the community. At 71,500 a shot, this has the second highest mag dump at 501,000 and totals out at 1.36 million. Only the Fortissimo will beat this out for damage, but I prefer this as I can share surges with my power weapon. Your first thought might be to run it with the backrest to get that stasis surge, but honestly in PvE, the Foe Tracer is a much stronger option, giving us a tier 4 surge through any of our abilities versus using our dodge for only a short window of damage, and then it gets locked out for the remainder of the DPS phase. During this DPS phase here, we cliff jumped at 80% health bar against Air Ute, and I'm a stasis hunter and I topped the team with over 3 million damage. The heritage was made famous during the Anarchy double slug meta. It has reconstruction and Vorpal weapon, but a Fortissimo will pretty much do the same thing with Vorpal weapon. It does 64k a slug, 386k a mag, and 1.352 million across its reserves. It paired with the first and last out, which rolled with Vorpal. It does 56k a slug, 336k a mag, and totals at 1.12 million. It worked really well on hunters, as you could use the Dragon Shadow. This way you could reload both your shotguns after emptying both mags simultaneously. The on your mark aspect will also increase our handling speed post dodge, making you swap faster. Its biggest downfall is now we have surge mods. When it was high energy fire, everything was buffed, now we have to split those damage buffs. Additionally, Dib got nerfed, and it was the great nullifier of skill gaps for shotgun swapping. Our lightweight shotguns have the mag dump. The Riiswalker returns next season, you're going to want a Vorpal one. It does the highest mag dump of our lightweights at 389,000 with no caveats. Unfortunately, lightweights only have 2.5 mags, so every other shotgun's 3.5 mags, maxing out damage out at 1,000,000. I had high hopes for the Swordbreaker, but even with surrounded, it barely broke 1,000,000. Surely sword logic is good, right? Honestly, I'm quite underwhelmed. This buff should be amazing, but even at tier 3, this is a 3-shotty kill, what Golden Tricorn accomplishes in 2 shots. That Cursed Thrall origin trait is carrying it hard. If lightweight had more ammo, maybe this could be good. The Retrofuturist was also very mid. After jumping through the hoops, it netted 331 a mag. Delete. The Reckless Endangerment also rolled Swashbuckler, and although it is kinetic, I still wouldn't use it in PvE. Maybe you might pull it out in Crucible once in a while, otherwise delete. The CQC-12, love the model, but Vorpal plus lightweight plus elemental shotgun was still pretty weak, netting us 338k in a mag dump. Luckily it does roll with Trench Barrel. Its damage jumps up to 378, plus your melees, it's actually doing a tidy little bit of damage here, like the shotgun. The Xenoclast is same and different. It's arc though, so I would probably just delete it, as the Deadpan Ag Frame will do an extra 300k across its reserves. The Wastelander is the goat of lightweight in my opinion with 1-2 punch. It's not because of its damage either. Of the 4 shotgun archetypes in my Bonk Hammer test, it came out last, but I love it for my Strand Titan. Really any melee build, it can be crafted with Enhanced Pugilist. This way we're never shy of those game breaking melee swings. Pair it up with the Into the Fray aspect to increase our melee regeneration whilst we have Woven Mail, heavy handed and invigoration, and you'll never be shy of melees again. The first precision frame, of which there aren't many, is the Matador. Many of us have been using this for the 1-2 punch. Unfortunately, it seems this actual shotgun damage is really abysmal at only 875k. Doing our Bonk Hammer test, it got last equal with hammers thrown and had the second lowest damage. If I wasn't a hoarder, I would probably just piss this right off. That said, if it's your only option in that slot and you've just got to roly-poly around with like the liar's handshakes, let's say, keep it, at least until you find a better option. Retold Tail is very similar, still trash, but keep it if you don't have anything better. The Compass Rose with Vorpal was pretty mid, only doing 50k per shot, 300 a mag, and 1,000,000 across its reserves. This is the Toyota Corolla of shotguns. However, with Trench Barrel, it instantly goes from Toyota to Lexus, and somehow becomes our second highest damaging shotgun in our energy slot, topping out at 1.311 million damage. For our rapid fire shotguns, this is probably one of the most slept on archetypes. They're often used for stocking stuffers. I'll use them whilst I'm on tractor duty or in like a bait and switch rotation. The one small step can be farmed out on the moon. It can roll 1-2 punch doing 35k a shot, 282 a mag and 989 across its reserves. By its numbers, it's technically the second best Bonk Hammer shotgun. However, in reality, the pellet spread made it more unruly, and its natural instinct to go full auto made me burn through ammo. I had a similar issue with the dead weight with the Trench Barrel. It did have the best rapid fire damage output, however, at 1.288 million. The dead weight also rolled Swashbuckler, which worked fairly well, doing 286k a mag, but again, it's an arc shotty with Swashbuckler. Go see the Inquisitor. The deadweight I did like, however, was the Vorpal weapon one. It has 986k total, but puts out 282,000 in 2.8 seconds, and can work an absolute treat during a short damage phase, or during a bait and switch rotation. The Ikelos SG is very similar, doing the same 282,000 and 987k, The benefit here is that this can be crafted, and we don't need to go in and farm an endless amount of gambit engrams like the deadweight to get it. The deicide will do the same numbers as deadweight and Ikelos, but also I like running this with Echo of Instability to add that little bit extra whilst running and gunning with volatile rounds. The ostinato again is a void rapid fire, but it can pump out 368 mag and 1.228 thanks to trench barrel. I like to pair this with the facade and threat of accent on my strand hunter, as this shotty has the trait well rounded. When we throw a grenade or hit with a melee, we are granted a stacking bonus to weapon stability, handling and range, making this shotty spit pellets rather than spray them. However, the Untill it returns is perhaps my favourite. Being strand, it's elemental, so we'll continue to do the same 282 and 987, again emptying the mag in 2.8 seconds, making it an excellent choice in activities like GMs for chewing out champions where strand surge is so potent. But its utilitarian rate also really shocked me, allowing me to stay competitive amongst the fire team despite the fact I was the tractor cannon. This shotty can be crafted with auto loading holster, so we can empty our mag, double boot, mag dump, boot boot, mega dump, boot and soup. Some of us have pages of weapons in our vault and we want to whittle this down to a top 10. At number 10, the Riiswalker with Vorpal. This is an easy, no-fuss shotgun with great mag damage and will suit any and all subclasses and elements for running guns. Number 9, Fortissimo or Heritage with Vorpal. Great, easy, consistent boss, shaken and bacon whenever a dib is on the menu. Number 8, Mindbenders with 1-2 punch is your go-to for oneing and dunning dungeons with bonk hammers. Number 7, the Wastelander is my favourite for the mean green berserkers. Number 6, Until it returns, stops champs from returning. Number 5, Ragnhild is our strongest 1-2 punch shotty. At number 4, Deadpan delivery is getting slept on. Make sure you pick it up from the altar before the season finishes out. Number 3, Imperial was surrounded. Massive damage, easy to proc if you got the balls like cantaloupes or you got a well or banner to bear it. Number 2, the no reprieve dumps over 500,000 a mag. Please stop sleeping on this puppy. And at number 1, the Imperial with trench barrel is the king. If you only own one shotgun, make sure it is this one. Please thumb it if you liked it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what your favourite shotguns are and any unique damage phases or perk combos that you look for. Sub if you're new, and until next time, tappy time my damies, what a tie!